Good testimonials are so valuable to you as a business owner. I know this because in my real estate business, my highest converting page is my testimonials page. People go there and see what other people, other sellers have had to say about me, and that's how they make the decision whether or not they want to do business with me or not. This last week, when the 7-Figure Flipping Mastermind members were here, we took the opportunity to record them so that they could tell other people about the experience that they've had. Jason has been processing through those testimonials all week long, and we decided to make this week's video about how to create a good testimonial. Jason's going to show you guys that right now.
My thought is that the first thing you want to do is throw out the word testimonial.
Wrong!
Because typically that's got kind of an infomercial connotation. If you're asking someone to give you a testimonial, they're going to be more than likely ready to give the canned sort of unnatural paid response, and you don't want that. Think of the testimonial as an interview. Someone sharing their story.
Wanted more flexibility in my schedule, less travel. I was at the point where I was like, oh, I'm ready to spend money on marketing. I'm ready to spend money on hires. I'm an implementer, I'm not a researcher. So to be able to sit in that room with everybody and they're like, hey, I'm doing this for marketing, I'm putting X amount of pieces out, I'm getting this response rate, I'm using this company for my list, and them saying like, you know, it's all great to talk about the epiphanies you've had, but what are you gonna do with it?
The closer the microphone to the subject, the better the sound of the recording is going to be. Then you want to know why they decided to work with you. You want people to recognize that there was something about you that made them go with you over someone else.
I really wanted to systemize my business and make it kind of like a little bit more cookie cutter.
One of the main reasons why I wanted to be involved in the group is to have access to Andy and how he's doing his wholesaling.
I don't know where you can find that at. You know, it definitely makes you feel at home.
It helps me cut back so that I get more of my life back, then the cost is worth it.
It's pretty hard to be natural when you're staring at a camera. However, when you're staring at a person, it's really easy to sort of be less self-aware and real. Someone's sharing their story with someone else, so they're talking to this other person and they're not looking directly at the camera. The way that the questions are asked really affect the quality of answers that the person's giving, because you're going to want to cut out yourself or whoever's doing the interview from the video, because you just want this person sharing their own story. Definitely never ask a question that could be answered with a yes or no. Ask them if they would talk about something, or would you mind sharing? If you don't mind sharing, do you mind talking a little bit about, so maybe you could just start there.
Yep.
Those kinds of ways of asking questions tend to get people to start at the beginning so that every part of what they're about to share is able to be used. We're pretty much done, but I'm just curious if there's anything else you can think of to say. You can get them to share how things have gotten better, because getting to the core of emotion is a really important part of a good interview.
What's your time worth? For me, it was the time. I want this to be a business. I want to be a CEO, not an LLC.
And lastly, when you're just about to call the video finished, if you add a little bit of soft background music, it goes a long way toward making the video more watchable.
I'm Becky Shay. I was in the Navy for a little bit. I did mechanical engineering for a few years. I left to start flipping houses because I wanted more flexibility in my schedule, less travel, and I just think it's cool to do. I really wanted to systemize my business and make it kind of like a little bit more cookie cutter, so I wasn't spending time on like turning on utilities and walking contractors through houses. Like that was my goal before I even joined 7-Figure Flipping. I was like, you know what, if this group helps me do one more deal this year, or spend, I mean, I've been doing all real estate all the time for the past like year. And I was like, or it helps me cut back so that I get more of my life back, then the cost is worth it. And I had done enough deals at that point that I felt like I had the money in my bank account to put towards this. Coming together to this mastermind was definitely the, it became absolutely clear the first day that it was worth it, because I'm I'm an engineer, I'm very data driven and numbers driven, and people are like, I'm an implementer, I'm not a researcher. So to be able to sit in that room with everybody and they're like, hey, I'm doing this for marketing, I'm putting X amount of pieces out, I'm getting this response rate, I'm using this company for my list, it costs me this, cents per whatever, all that stuff. And then, I'm tracking calls using this system, I paid these people to set it up for me, we tweaked it like that, I've got this person, I'm paying them this. The compensation thing was a big thing when you grow, like hearing how people are compensating people so that you are fair. That was a big concern for me. And then, how are people building their teams? Like, what's your first step? What's the second step? Justin and Andy, at the end, when people were talking about what actions are they taking before the next meeting, and them saying like, it's all great to talk about the epiphanies you've had, but what are you gonna do with it? And they set like the standard way up high, right? This is what you can be. This is what you can have. This is the team you can build, a great team. So just seeing somebody who's done it and implementing it and having them there to tweak the conversation and push it is awesome. I was at the point where I was like, I'm ready to spend money on marketing. I'm ready to spend money on hires if it means that I can make this whole process better and my life easier. And that, entrance fee is like, it's a deal. Or it's a couple hours of your life. What's your time worth? Like, if it saves you that amount of time in your life, then it's worth it. And it's just an expense. I also like it because it's kind of a barrier to people who aren't at that level. Like, if you're not ready to think on the scale of what value, adding $10, $20, $30, $40,000 setting aside for your business, if you're not ready to think about putting that money into your business to grow it exponentially, then you're not going to spend the money and you're not going to be here, and that's okay. You'll be there eventually, but maybe now is not the time. So, but for me, it was the time. I want this to be a business. I want to be a CEO, not an LLC.
Go create some good testimonials for whatever it is you do. Real estate business, education business, whatever you're doing, okay? You owe it to yourself. And share this with somebody else. Share the love, right? There needs to be more good testimonials out there so we can know as consumers who the good people are to do business with. Appreciate you guys.